I hope you're having a nice Thursday. Later in the show, we're also talking about several other stories that caught our eye today, like flying cars. They're getting the federal approval to operate right here in California. But first, we're starting off with tonight's main point. The home insurance crisis is growing. ABC 10 has learned another insurance company is changing how it does business in California, citing catastrophic storms, wildfires, and the rising cost of repairs. As we reported, both State Farm and Allstate made the decision in recent months to press pause on new homeowners insurance policies, and AIG stopped offering home insurance last year as well. Becca Habegger has more on the latest company to make changes and why residents are now choosing to leave the state.
Yeah, Alex, in an internal memo obtained by ABC 10, Foremost, a company owned by Farmers Insurance, says effective August 1st, Foremost will no longer accept new business for certain specialty properties, including landlord mobile home, landlord condo, vacant properties, and renters. Why? Well, the memo cites the increasing cost of doing business in California, and insurance companies aren't the only ones feeling and acting on those increased expenses.
We keep our property pretty well clear.
Back in 2019, I spoke with Laura and Charlie Callahan, who'd owned their home in El Dorado County for more than 25 years.
We had our homeowners insurance for over 20 years, and we got the letter, as people refer to it, and we were canceled. I'm now paying 4 times what I was paying before. It's gone from less than $1,000 a year to almost $4,000 a year.
So they did something about it.
Obviously, a lot has changed.
I spoke with them from their new home in Tennessee.
There are a lot of reasons a lot of people leave California. Where does home insurance and the price of home insurance fall on your list?
It really came to homeowners insurance was the big one because it was an unknown. You know, we didn't know what the future held for that. If we even were able to keep getting insurance, much less how much we were going to have to pay for it.
Back in 2019, one of their frustrations was no matter how much defensible space they cleared around their house, it didn't seem to matter to insurance companies.
I always kept working on my property, taking down brush and things like that all the time, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't make it 100%. No matter what you do, it's never 100%.
Yeah.
Since then, California Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara, seen here in 2019 at a series of town halls he held on this very topic, has attempted to address that. A California Department of Insurance spokesperson tells ABC 10 Commissioner Lara has mandated insurance companies to recognize and reward wildfire safety and mitigation efforts made by homeowners and businesses. His new regulation requires insurance companies to submit new rates that recognize the benefit of safety measures such as upgraded roofs and windows, defensible space, and memberships in community-wide programs such as Firewise USA, among other consumer protections. I asked the Callahans if that would have made a difference to them. Laura says she thinks it will make insurance companies leave the state.
Try to force a business to do business, they're going to leave. I just don't see how it's feasible.
Now, Alex, this is a big story that's going to affect more than just the many people already living in fire-prone areas. For example, Farmers Insurance confirmed to me today that effective this week, it is limiting its new homeowners policies, citing record-breaking inflation, severe weather events, and reconstruction costs continuing to climb. Now, specifically, my sources tell me Farmers is now limited to 7,000 new homeowners insurance policies per month in all of California. Why? Well, since Allstate, State Farm, and AIG are no longer writing new home insurance policies, people looking for insurance have fewer options and are flocking to Farmers. And so Farmers is trying to limit its risk exposure with this monthly cap on new policies.
And let's be clear, if you have a mortgage, you are required to have homeowners insurance.
Yeah, bingo. So unless you own your home outright, insurance really isn't optional. And the more companies that leave or limit new policies, the more that squeezes the entire market. And that is part of a bigger story I'm working on.
Yeah, and this is a story that we will continue to follow. So if you have something to add, help us tell this story. You can text the team at 916-321-3310. You can also scan the QR code on your screen right now to join the To The Point text group. Here's what else we're talking about today. Locally, Governor Gavin Newsom, our state attorney general, and a sheriff in Texas are calling for a federal investigation into migrant flights to Sacramento. The 2 Sacramento arrivals happened in June, and both flights reportedly originated in El Paso. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says that his administration was behind the flights. And the 4th of July, completely messy. Take a look at this video. Volunteers cleaning up Lake Tahoe sent us this video. They said that they cleaned up more than 4 tons of trash, including cigarette butts, plastic food wrappers, beach toys, and even barbecues. The League of Save the Lake Tahoe organization, they do this every year. They've been doing it for 9 years, and they say that the beaches looked like a complete landfill. And 23 people are now under arrest facing charges like lewd acts with a child and manufacturing and possessing child porn. The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office conducted a 2-week operation with nearly 30 agencies to crack down on the issue. Sheriff Jim Cooper says that this is an issue that's very dear to his heart, saying that he was the commander of the Internet Crimes Task Force for 3 years, and he wants parents to talk to their children about the issue.
Parents, be on guard about who your child's communicating with. Be on guard about who your friends are, because adults take advantage of children all the time, and we don't want to see it happen.
The sheriff says the number of these incidents keep going up, and it's not going to stop. Well, we talk about them a lot. Sideshows, we know that they can be very dangerous. They keep happening in our region. People are cited, some are even arrested. And now tonight, law enforcement and family, they need your help. A Sacramento family is mourning the death of their son, who was killed in a shooting connected to a sideshow in Stockton, and it all happened over the weekend. Our Garage Paul Sanga shares how 18-year-old Angel Ramos is being remembered and how you can help.
These are the memories.
He always made time for family. Loved to eat. Oh, that boy would always eat.
The Ramos family is holding on to dearly.
He was my little brother, but he acted like a big brother. It's like everywhere we look, he's there. Everything we do, he's there.
Holding even closer as they try to figure out a reality without their son and brother, Angel Ramos.
We're waiting for him to come. Then we realize he's not. And there's a huge void in my heart.
That void left by a young man described as a loving and happy-go-lucky kid. 18-year-old Angel Ramos was shot and killed early Sunday morning near Main and Rendon Streets in Stockton. Police say a sideshow was reported in that area a half hour earlier. The Sacramento native later died at the hospital.
We were texting just hours before the incident even happened and making sure he was okay. And he was like, I'm fine. Like, I love you guys. I'll be home. And we woke up in the morning and it was not fine.
Family says he was a huge fan of cars and of car shows. They add this was at least his second time watching a sideshow in Stockton. Stockton PD would not clarify to ABC 10 whether Ramos was a spectator or a participant, only saying it is an active investigation.
Number one question was, well, what was an 18-year-old doing out there? Living life, having fun and watching the cars. There's nothing wrong with that. He wasn't a bad kid.
He didn't deserve to die like this.
As police look for a shooter, the family tonight pleading for whoever did this to turn themselves in.
We'll never get him back. The hole will always be there. We won't judge you. Just come forward.
There is a $10,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. Just call Stockton Crime Stoppers. If you do have any tips, you can remain anonymous. And that family, they are raising money through a GoFundMe for a funeral. If you do want to help, we do have a link on our website at abc10.com. Coming up onto the point, it's being described as an endless loop of failure. Sacramento County is being called out in the latest grand jury report, but is what's changing using our taxpayers' dollars the right response? And new details about an Alzheimer's drug and why Medicare says it will cover most of its high costs.
And much cooler today with highs in the low 80s for Sacramento, upper 80s in Marysville and Stockton, but still well below the average this time of year. How long this cooling trend is sticking around.
All right, so we got some good news here. Cooler weather on the way. Carly with a look at our forecast tonight.
Yeah, we are looking at wonderful weather. I mean, I can't be happier about this as we start getting into middle of July, or at least that first week into July. Our temperatures well below average. Right now in the Big Mountain backyard, it's a nice evening in Sacramento, close to 80 degrees. Stockton, Modesto in the mid 80s, and Marysville upper 80s, 74 in Tahoe. All these numbers well below the average of what they usually are this time of year. In Sacramento is usually the cooler one of everyone as it gets a delta breeze and averages 92 degrees in Sacramento this time of year. So yeah, being below feels pretty nice. Dry, cool, and again below average temperatures for the next few days as we get through the weekend. Breezy but gusty as well, as some of the high gusts here could get as high as about 35 miles per hour through the Delta. And again, most of these spots through the Delta around Fairfield, a little further south as well as you get to the Tracy Triangle, and then through areas around Sacramento, Elk Grove, getting some of the stronger winds. Hot weather that's going to return as we start getting to about this time next week. Right now, we're looking at that zonal flow of the jet stream right across Sacramento. So cooler air through this zone here, a little warmer further south and further north, but much cooler and average, below average, I should say, this time of year. But as we get closer to around this time next week, you start seeing that ridge building over the area, warm right here, where it gets a little cooler further north. And we're going to be looking at temperatures in triple digits once again. So we get a little bit of a break. So we'll take the break while it's here. Enjoy your weekend in the 80s. And then we're going to see those wind gusts again, about 15, 20 miles per hour. Some of the flare-ups as high as 35 mile per hour wind gusts. And that'll continue on into your Friday and Saturday. Looking at that 10-day forecast, mid-80s for the next few days, low 90 on Monday. But then we really jump and skyrocket from Tuesday on. Pretty much consider Tuesday a triple-digit day in the upper 90s. And we pretty much stay in those triple digits for the next 5 days after that.
Coming up, it could be a new way to help deal with grief. We meet the inventor behind the VR headset that makes it feel like you're talking to your loved ones who've passed. We're back after this. An endless loop of failure. That's what the Sacramento County Grand Jury is calling the county's response to homelessness. So what's changing to address the issue, and is it the right response? Devin Truvey has the story.
There are 11 major findings in the report, ranging from lack of cooperation among agencies, cities, and the county, no financial transparency, staffing shortages, and issues addressing the mental health and substance abuse issues. The solution everyone is looking for is collaboration.
So we had a real opportunity more than a decade ago to do exactly what the grand jury is talking about, to have a regional approach to ending and preventing homelessness.
Homeless advocate Bob Erlenbush says his major takeaway from the report is that the same issues continue to go unsolved.
And we're still asking, and they're still not doing anything about it.
Is this a solvable problem?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We've seen it in other states. So you cited San Antonio. Texas is solving the problem. There are other entities that are solving the problem.
The grand jury says the county has the money to solve the homelessness problem. We asked the jury for their findings on spending.
That's an almost impossible question to answer because of the way the county structures its budget. It talks in terms of budget categories as opposed to specific projects. We personally don't think that money is the issue. Coordination and cooperation is the issue.
The report specifically references behavioral health services spending, citing the $529 million in funding, but no reports to show where they're being spent, just this general allocation chart. The county said for the fiscal year 2022 to 2023, $177 million is allocated for homeless funding. We asked the county, what do you want to say to the community about the expenses and results?
Absolutely. It's frustrating, and we feel that too. We want to see the difference happen urgently and quickly. We're also trying to be really thoughtful in our approach and making sure that the strategies that we're laying the foundation for today, increasing our safe stay communities, increasing our exits out of shelter into more permanent supportive housing.
Well, many projects to build housing for the unhoused are still not done. That's no secret, but we've told you about them over and over. The Safe Stay sites at Florin and Power Inn Roads and East Parkway. Months later, they still sit empty, and now they're expected to open in October. And when we asked the county about this today, they said that these sites will now fall under a new department.
Through things such as our partnership agreement with the city, we've created a new Department of Homeless and Housing Services to really bring all of our efforts under one umbrella.
So that department is expected to start this month. Of course, you know, we will keep following this story. And there are a lot of other headlines across the state today. So here's what else is catching our eye.
A Princess cruise ship is visibly damaged after hitting a pier in San Francisco. It happened while docking. A passenger from Sacramento says they sensed the ship was coming in too fast and watched to see what might happen.
I noticed we were spinning pretty quick to be that close to the dock, and I was midship, port side, looked out the window, and we smacked into the dock.
The ship was coming back from a 10-day cruise to Alaska. Princess Cruises says no one was hurt. Senator Pro Tem Toni Atkins is third in line to be governor, but she just signed a bill into law. Both the governor and lieutenant governor are out of state right now. This is significant in more ways than one.
As a kid growing up in Appalachia, came out as LGBTQ at age 18, 19, you know, what this means for my community. So I am mindful that it is more than just about Toni Atkins, that it is important to be in these positions and to claim them.
An Alzheimer's drug that we've talked about on the show before was just approved by the FDA. They gave Leqembi full approval, but added a black box warning about safety risks. The drug is shown to slow the decline in people in early stages of Alzheimer's. Medicare says it will cover most of its high costs. There's a new social media app, Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, just launched Threads. It's similar to Twitter, but built on top of Instagram. Accounts for those 16 and under will automatically be made private. And the world's first flying car has just been approved by the FAA. And yeah, it's going to be flying around some areas of California. The company that built it is in the Bay Area. They say it's a fully electric car that can fly and travel on roads. Your passenger side becomes the bottom wing and the driver's side becomes the top wing. Just cue the Jetsons.
So I wish I could tell you where in California they'll be flying, but the details are pretty much classified at the moment. But we do want to stress where that car can fly is very limited. It's also being called a low-speed vehicle, which means that it won't be able to go any faster than about 25 miles on a paved road. And the company says at least 400 of the cars have been pre-ordered so far. So what if you could talk to your loved ones even after they die? One man is working to make that possible through virtual reality technology, and he's starting a business that he says is the first of its kind in the entire world. Nate Belt explains.
Comes out the side.
Christopher Moore first tried virtual reality with a friend's headset.
Within a week, I got one myself.
At first, it was for playing games, but it became more after his dad, Mike,
He was my hero.
got cancer for a second time. He originally recovered,
We got another 10 years with him.
but that time slipped away quickly until he died last year.
Everybody always liked more.
Thanks to his headset, he got more.
I just wanted to try to find a way that he could leave a message behind for my siblings or my mom to try to help them through the grieving process after he's already passed.
Moore's idea, a virtual video recorded before his dad died, letting his family grieve by talking with him.
In my video that I have of him, he tells me that he's proud of me, and that alone, being able to go back and reflect onto that, it's priceless.
Now he wants to share that feeling with others. His company, More to Give, will record a loved one with a 360-degree camera, saying familiar things,
Words of encouragement or moral values or old phrases that they would use.
in familiar places.
It's not a studio. It's not a white room. It's home.
Like this video Moore's brother recorded for his kids.
He walks up to the camera and he starts to leave them their heartfelt message.
You guys mean the absolute world to me.
It's a feeling Moore says can't be described.
If you never have to use it, you never have to use it. But if for some reason you ever had to, I mean, it's priceless.
And one he knows his dad is happy to leave behind.
I'd like to think that he's proud. I've tried my best for him.
And if you want to learn more about this technology, the company making these videos is called More to Give. Still ahead, the Homeless World Cup. The first of its kind soccer matches are about to take place at Sacramento State. All right, so you already know that we always end the show with what we're working on for tomorrow. And tomorrow, we're going global. That's because hundreds of people are arriving at Sacramento State to compete in the Homeless World Cup. Players have either faced homelessness or are refugees, and the event is meant to bring awareness of homelessness and highlight positive solutions. So we're meeting up with Team USA tomorrow and learning more about the soccer called street soccer that these teams will play. And you already know we love to hear what's going on in your community, so make sure you reach out to us. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night. Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really love hearing from everyone, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. Reach out to me on Facebook at AlexBellTV, or you can email me at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send me a text message at 916-321-3310.